This is episode 14 of Ask Mogz Anything, the series where I answer questions from you guys about Sideswipe and about myself. This is a special episode featuring ranked gameplay from literally every single rank in the game, from Silver to Grand Champion, and includes answers to questions about tips for hard suck diamonds, how to master stall chains, and which came first, the chicken or the egg. All of the gameplay shown in this video and all of the questions answered in this video came from my Discord server. If you want to submit your own gameplay or questions for future episodes, come join the Mogz Discord server. The details are on screen and in the video description. Alright, let's get into the first match and the first question. Alright boys, so the first question comes from SQ Zen, who by the way asked an absolute ton of questions. I just chose one of them. And they ask, do you have any tips for hard suck diamonds? Yeah, that's a great question. So firstly, I don't know if this guy's talking about ones or twos or what game mode. So I'm pretty much just going to answer this like people who want to get the champ rewards. So what game mode should they play and what tactics and stuff that should they use, blah, blah, blah. So I just want to give you basically 3 tips. These are 3 tips that I used that helped me increase my rank more than any others. Okay, so the first one is play 2v2s. 2v2s is so much easier to rank up in than 1v1s, and especially if you can get a teammate to play with, so someone maybe you can get on voice comms with even, or just someone that you can play together with regularly, you're gonna have a massive advantage in your teamwork and stuff, and your like team cohesion, your tactics, over all of the solo queue players who are just playing with randos. So highly recommend if you're just going for the rank, just play 2s, just focus on 2s, because 1s is much harder to rank up in. The next tip is to use a VPN. So I personally use a VPN called ExpressVPN because I have an affiliate link thing with them, which I'll put on screen and in the video description. So if you want to use that, you can help out the channel a little bit. And it's cheap, it's like $6 a month or something like that with my code thing. But I use that to change my region to play in different regions. So I personally live in Japan, where there's not a huge number of players, like the queue times are really long, and I always play against the same players all the time. A lot of them are quite good. And I found that as soon as I switched to playing in America and in Oceania as well, my rank just increased. And I feel like the play styles are quite different in those regions, particularly in the US. I noticed a really big difference. People were communicating more, like doing like kickoff plays and like passing plays and stuff like that. And it was just, I don't know, it was a different play style. And I felt that I found that my playstyle maybe was a good match for those regions. You know, I seemed to have an advantage. I don't know, I'm not sure why. So that helped me a lot. So I highly recommend at least trying, if not a paid VPN, then a free VPN. Oh my god, I can't say VPN. At least try a free VPN and see how it goes. Just try a few different regions and see if you have an advantage, because you might. And the third tip is more gameplay related, and that is stop trying to go for stall chains all the time. So if you're hard suck diamond, I'm guessing you're probably trying to do a lot of stalls and you're probably messing them up. But I personally found that as soon as I stopped constantly going for stall chains and messing them up and like just making my plays really obvious and kind of restricting myself to those stall chain plays, my rank increased, because I was playing 2s, so I didn't need the mechanics that much. But I just noticed that I was making far fewer mistakes. My plays were faster, and it was just overall, yeah, I was just ranking up. So those are my 3 tips. Use a VPN, play 2s, and stop going for stall chains all the time, because you're probably messing them up. All right, great question though. Hope those tips help. Next one comes from Proggen, I'm not sure. And they asked, do you think that one day we'll have tournaments in Sideswipe? I really hope so. The short answer is no, I don't think we will. Because the game seems to have basically been abandoned by the developer. But I mean, we have them in Rocket League, and they're a huge success. Like, you got tournament rewards and things that you can get, which are amazing. Some of the best items in the game, I think, are tournament rewards, really. And they're not tradable, so I feel like they could add it to Sideswipe, and they wouldn't, you know, you don't need to add any player trading or anything. Like, they're not tradable anyway in Rocket League, so I feel like it wouldn't, yeah, it'd be a really good addition that would just fit straight into Sideswipe. And I mean, you can already play tournaments. There are obviously like kind of like more professional, like paid tournaments, like you can win prizes and stuff. But also, I run some tournaments on my Discord server, so if you want to play in tournaments on there, yeah, come join the Mogz Discord server. Details on screen and the video description, and you might be able to play in a tournament there. We're not running that many these days, but maybe we can restart them if there's more interest. Then yeah, we can start doing them again. But yeah, short answer, I doubt they will add them. No, but I wish they would, because it'd be amazing. All right, next one comes from Kinetsune. I guess that's Japanese. And they ask, hey man, I've been subbed to you for a long time. I've been playing since pre-season. My peak at diamond. I just want to know, since I can't find it, do you have a routine for stalls? If so, I would love to see it and want to get better at it. Yeah, I mean, everyone wants to get better at stalls. As I said, like diamonds mess them up all the time, and you know, all the lower ranks constantly. So I do have, I mean, my stall tutorial, I think, talks about, gives you like a training routine. So I still recommend that. I mean, you can get, like, so in that video, I think I recommended going into Hoops Arena and practicing your stalls in there. So I mean, I don't do that anymore, but when I was learning, I 100% did do that. Other than that, I would say just, yeah, I mean, my own routine is just to go into free play and practice them in there. So just pop the ball up and go for stall chains. Like, mostly I'm practicing like horizontal, like sideways stall chains, because they're the ones that I struggle with the most. Just going up from the ground up to the ceiling, I don't think is much practice, because it's so, you know, like, I mean, you do that when you're doing like ceiling resets, purple resets and stuff, but I would say more useful is the sideways ones. So I think just going to free play and just practice them for, you know, half an hour or something before you play, and you if you do it every time before you play, you'll see a massive improvement. Definitely, it's really just a matter of putting in the time. But if you're still terrible at them, yeah, the Hoops Arena definitely works. That training routine I think is really good, so I'll put it on screen and in the video description as well, so you can go check that out. But yeah, otherwise just put the time in, man. Next one comes from Not Your Mother, and they ask, do you think Psyonix would add more to Sideswipe if they were making money off the game? Yeah, I mean, 100% they would. That as soon as they monetized Rocket League heavily, as soon as Epic took over and they started monetizing it really heavily, the amount of content just ramped up massively. So, you know, we get all these licensed cars, and you get, you know, tournaments came into the game, new maps constantly. Every season we get a new map and new cars all the time, you know, new Rocket Pass cars. It's just ridiculous. So, whereas in Sideswipe, all of the cars that we got in Sideswipe just came from Rocket League. Like, there's no new unique cars in Sideswipe that aren't already in Rocket League. So, there's essentially nothing new other than a few maps, you know. And volleyball, I guess. Even Heat Seeker and Hoops came from Rocket League. So, yeah, the fact that the game's not monetized is a huge hit to, you know, getting new content. And I don't think Psyonix would be making money from new Sideswipe players coming into Sideswipe, and then those Sideswipe players moving into Rocket League, and where they're going to spend money. You know, I doubt there's much of that going on anymore, because there's no new Sideswipe players coming into the game. So I just don't think they'd be making anything from it at all anymore. So, which is why I think it's died. But yeah, the answer to your question is yes, they would if it was monetized, 100%, but it's not, so yeah, no content. Next one comes from 911 isn't my fault, it's yours. Okay, it's a silly name, but yeah. Mogz, what is the best way to stall chain and gold shot in goal? I'm gold and I don't know. What's the best way to stall chain to gold? I guess stall to gold. I mean, I don't think there's any particular technique. Like, I've done a lot of, I mean, I did a tutorial on stall to golds, and I've practiced them a lot, and I don't think there's any technique. Like, you know, whether you hold jump on your last stall or you just tap jump doesn't seem to make any difference to me. Like, I've kind of spent some time on that. I don't think there's a difference. The technique that I use to make sure I hit my gold shot is to put a little bit of a pause between the end of my stall, my last stall, and my gold shot. you don't, because when you're doing stall change, you're often kind of spamming the buttons quite quickly. If you then try to spam the gold shot as well, I think I found anyway that I would often hit the buttons in the wrong order. So I would like press jump before I aimed back to do my gold shot, you know? So then it just wouldn't work. I'd jump, I'd just flip away from the ball. So I think you need to kind of just put a pause a little bit, then quickly aim back and then jump. Like just make it quite a deliberate action. You know, so you stall, then wait, then gold shot. You know, you don't want to stall, gold shot immediately. Unless you're insane like Jelly, you know, you'll put a clip on screen. He doesn't need to pause. But if you're just still learning it, like you're only gold rank, you probably mechanics aren't going to be that good. I recommend just pausing a little bit. So that's definitely my tip. It works for me and it'll definitely work for you. All right, next question comes from Loop Aid Man. And they ask, do you have any tips for Plat to Diamond 1 doubles? Plat 2 to Diamond 1? Okay, that's a huge range. Plat 2 to Diamond 1. Well, if you're just playing doubles, the best piece of advice I can give you is to play with your teammate. So if you're solo queuing in particular, you really need, if you're only platinum in doubles, I would say a lot of your goals are coming from, like a lot of the goals you're conceding are coming from overcommits, like double commits and stuff, and just improper rotation and positioning, you know? Two players going for the same ball, stuff like that. So I think really like you have to focus on your teammate. If you're playing with a solo queue random teammate and that teammate is really aggressive and he comes for the ball like when you think it's yours, you got to be watching him, and as soon as he comes, just get out of there. Just flip down to the ground and go and defend. I've said this so many times in my AMA videos. I think you just have to get out of the habit of like, this ball is mine, I'm going for it, and then like, hey, why are you coming for it? Stop coming for it. Oh, no, what are you doing? You have to just be like, it's my ball. Okay, oh, he's coming. All right, I'm going down. You know, I'm getting out of there. I'm going to defend. That's what you need to do. And if you do that, you'll find that the double commits just reduce massively. The other thing I would say, I guess, is just make your movement really clear. Like I found that if you're doing a lot of faking and, you know, like jump fakes, like you're jumping up and then flipping down in twos, I think it confuses your teammate more than anything. So you of course you want to confuse your opponent, but I think confusing your opponents is things like when you're on the ball, you know, doing like a fake shot and not shooting as soon as you can sort of thing. And that kind of stuff will confuse them, and just using a variety of mechanics maybe. But I would say like maybe keep the fakes as to a minimum, because you don't want to confuse your teammate and make your teammate think you're going for the ball when you're not, you know, because it just creates a lot of confusion. So I would say, yeah, make your movement really clear, and also don't double commit. So just if your teammate's coming, just get out of there. Yeah, so those are my two pieces of advice. Hope it helps. Next one comes from Catecalist. And they ask, how do I master stalls? I can only go to the ceiling and then stop. How do I straighten it out? So yeah, I mean, it's good. It's tough, but you really you need to get into the habit of using your joystick in between your stalls. So it's really easy with stalls to get stuck in just the stall movement. So just the jump, arrow, you know, half arrow, You need to be using your joystick as well. So you just need to get into the habit of making small adjustments. So I'd recommend like practicing basically going up and doing one stall, and then like in free play, and then adjust with your joystick a little bit. Maybe you want to go left, then adjust with your joystick, just flick it down, then do another stall, and then maybe flick it down again and do another stall, like horizontal. And you know, you have to get into that habit of adjusting your stalls in between them, because it is a difficult thing to do, and it's really easy to just get stuck in like going vertical, stall, and then like, what do I do now? I don't know, and then you just fall down to the ground. But yeah, once you reach that point, once you do go up to the ceiling, you just need to kind of flick your joystick down a bit to put your car at an angle, and then continue your stalls and you know, forward. So yeah, that's my advice. It is tricky, it does take a lot of practice, but yeah, you just need to practice it, that's all. All right, next one comes from SQ SpeedXE, And they ask, can you shout me out for no apparent reason? Nope. All right, next one comes from Mooney, and they ask, which do you think is better, touch or controller? I personally use controller, and I have since like season 2 or something, because I've never played any touch games in my life other than like Candy Crush or something. I've never played any like action touch games, so I'm terrible at action touch games. I'm terrible with the touchscreen. Like I can't play first-person shooters or third-person shooters on touch. I just can't do it. My brain just explodes. So I'm a keyboard and mouse kind of player or a controller player. And again, I can't play first-person shooters on controller either. I have to use a keyboard and mouse. Like I'm just that generation. So I personally prefer touch. However, I actually think that touch is. I don't think touch is bad. And I actually feel like, even for myself, when I play touch, I feel like I have an advantage with my joystick. So I feel like, for me anyway, it's a bit more accurate to line up my car in exactly the direction I want it to go using touch. I find on controller there's kind of a disconnect between my brain and the joystick and the arrow on the screen. So I actually find it's difficult. It's more difficult sometimes doing stalls and to align my car using controller. So I think that might be one advantage maybe that touch players have. They're kind of, you're more connected to the direction of your car, because it's kind of, you're like physically in touch with it. You know, you move your joystick and your car is just in exactly that position. I don't know. I find it's an easier connection to make, for me personally. But that said, I do prefer controller. It's just easier for me, and yeah, overall it's better. Yeah, I think it's just personal preference, honestly. It's just whatever you have more experience with, whatever you're more comfortable with, it's good for you. Like my friend Jelly is a touch player, and he's absolutely insane, and I think he hates controller. Like he would never switch to the controller. So, you know, some people are just better at one over the other, and I think it's personal preference, honestly. So yeah, good question though. That is an age-old question. All right, next one comes from Arik, and they ask, if you were the owner of Sideswipe, what would you do to revive the game? Yeah, Sideswipe is dead. I know, it is kind of dying. What would I do? I would of course change the rocket pass to being what it was before. I would have new cars come into the game. I would monetize the game. I would have licensed cars come into the game, like Ferraris and Lamborghinis and all of that awesome stuff. Movie deals like Fast and the Furious cars. I mean, why would we have a skyline in Sideswipe? It's just insane. So I would do that, obviously. I would put player-to-player trading in it. I would put replays in it, so you could take replays of your matches. I would have like replay sharing and clip sharing in the game. Like I would have an in-game menu where you could see other like replays, and you could vote on them, and you'd have like a replay of the week, and maybe those people would get like a prize or something, like some like unique item. I mean, there's so many things you could do, honestly. It's just insane. Yeah, like you have to have like a paid rocket pass, like kind of similar to Stumble Guys or Fall Guys or whatever. You'd have like, unique items in the game, then you could pay for like a sort of boost and things like that. Maybe nothing that would give you any advantage, like it would all be cosmetic. But I mean, you gotta have a paid option. You gotta bring money you gotta get money out of the game so you can then spend the time to add more content to it. So yeah, those are my ideas. Of course, tournaments as well, like we talked about earlier. It's just a no-brainer. Also, this might be controversial, but I would probably release Sideswipe on PC and console as well. Like that would just bring a whole ton of players into the game. And whilst a lot of players, a lot of touch players might think those controller players would have an unfair advantage, I just think it's worth it. Like there's so many controller players in Sideswipe already. I think if we want to revive the game, we need to expand it to other platforms. Like that just kind of needs to happen. If it just stays on mobile, then yeah, it's probably not gonna go very far. But yeah, anyway, those are the changes I would make. Maybe the platform one, okay, we can maybe table that. It's probably debatable. Maybe have the community vote on it or something. But anyway, there's a ton of things they could do, and they're not doing any of them. So yeah, Body psionics, epic. I don't know who to blame. Next one comes from can't read it. Polar. Mogz, what mechanics should all stuck plats learn to reach diamond, except for stalls? Yeah, so stalls obviously, but even that you don't need them. What mechanic should you use? God, good question. Let me think about it. Hold on.
One eternity later.
All right, I thought about it. Well, I think, maybe I'd probably give 2, because one of my favorite mechanics that I find beats plat all the time is the purple flick. That just, no one uses it, and therefore it catches people out constantly. So, and it's so easy to do. You can do it on touch so easily as well. Like, it's not challenging at all. So I highly recommend learning that. I think that, you just control but particularly in ones, you control the ball, get the ball on your ceiling, on your roof of your car, and then just wait for them to challenge, and just as they're challenging, just purple flick it directly over their head. It just honestly beats plats every day of the week. So that's my first one. The other one is, it's not really a mechanic, I guess. It's kind of a move, which is I call it the fast aerial flip reset. So that's where you do a fast aerial, like you maybe pop the ball up, whatever, and then you fast aerial, so you like you flip whilst you're boosting towards the ball, and as you get to the ball, you lean back and get a flip reset. That is like a GC kind of move that they use all the time, and if you can get good at it, it will speed up your plays ridiculously, and it's really useful in 2s. It's extremely useful in 1s as well, but honestly, you should be using it like every play in 2s. Like, it's essential in 2s, higher rank, like champ rank. But fast aerial flip reset, I think, is really just such a powerful move, and because you get up to the ball really quickly, but then you get a reset at the end, so you can just continue your play slowly if you want, or you keep it faster. There's so many things you could do with it. So that's those 2 mechanics, purple flick and the fast aerial flip reset, absolutely essential. So yeah, those are the 2 that I would choose. And the last Rocket League related question is, who came first, the egg or the chicken? Yeah, so I know it's a Rocket League related, but it's a great question. So my answer is definitely the egg, because at some point there would have been an egg laid by something that was considered not a chicken. I don't know, whatever came before the chicken. I'm not sure what that was. The beta chicken thing, the chickette. I don't know what it's called, but something that wasn't classified as a chicken by science, that would have laid an egg where there was a mutation that was the mutation that crossed the boundary into being a chicken. And so that egg would be surely classified because it contained a chicken egg. And so the thing that came first was the egg, 100%. That just makes total sense. Thanks, awesome. All right, the next questions are all about me. There's only 3 of them, so this is almost the end of the video. First one comes from SQZen again. I told you he had a lot of questions, and they ask, sorry to misgender, when will you quit YouTube? So I don't think I'll ever quit. No, I don't think I will. I might quit Sideswipe if Sideswipe does actually totally die. I might move on to other games, although I'll probably still do Sideswipe every now and then. It's this is my first big game, so yeah, I probably won't ever quit Sideswipe entirely. But yeah, I don't think I'll quit YouTube. I think I'll just, move on to other games. And I love content creation. It's just it's my favorite thing in life, pretty much. Like, I just can't wait to do it all the time. So I don't think I'll ever quit. I think I'll just move on to other games. I might just not even do games. I might move on to a completely different type of content on a different channel. I already have like 3 channels. I've got my 2 gaming ones, and then I have 1 more that I don't really make content on anymore, but that's where I got started. Like, it was a totally different subject, something that was much more personal. It's about something in my personal life that I'm not going to go into. But yeah, so I do have multiple channels already. But yeah, so I don't think I'll ever quit. I love it. I don't want to do any other job ever. It's just, this is my dream. So yeah, good question. Thanks. Next one comes from Climax FIXs, and they ask, Mogz, where are you from? I'm from Sydney, Australia. So I don't live there anymore. I moved to Japan about 10, 12 years ago. And I came here on holiday, and then I met my now wife and got married and stayed here. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm originally from Australia, born in Melbourne, and lived there my whole life until I was 27 or something like that, where I had like a boring office job, and yeah, I was like, I gotta get out of here. So I had to quit that and was like going to Japan for a year. But I do want to get back to Australia. I do miss it. I miss my family, miss my mom and my brothers and stuff. So yeah, but that's where I'm from. I don't know how many people know where I'm from, or like if they recognize my accent, because my accent's quite neutral, I think, because I've lived in Japan for so long, and I already kind of had not a super like strong Australian accent. But I wonder how many people think I'm like British or European, or I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you thought I was, if you're surprised anyway to hear that I'm Australian. But yeah, good question. Thanks for the question. And the last one comes from RE3. Yeah, I'm not going to read that. Does Mogz play or watch any sports? So I don't really anymore. I mean, I don't play anything anymore other than like I've been playing table tennis recently with my brother because he's been visiting Japan. So we've been playing that a lot. But when I was growing up, I played, I was about to say Rocket League. I played soccer. So that's, you can see the connection to Rocket League. Because I played soccer a lot. I played soccer for like 8 or 9 years, just all through junior high school kind of thing. Elementary school, I think, a bit as well. And yeah, so that was my main sport. I was also an athlete. Like I was a really successful, like even national level athlete, like sprinter. I was in a relay team, like 4x100 meter relay, and we like smashed the records and stuff. So we were quite successful at the state level. So all of like New South Wales, which is one of Australia's states for anyone who doesn't know. So yeah, I was a really fast runner, just naturally fast. Like I never really did a huge amount of like training or anything like that, but I've always been like a really good sprinter when I was young. And yeah, so I did athletics like all through my early childhood in elementary school since I was like 4 or 5 or 6 or something. I don't know, really young, because I was so skinny and I was just really fast. And then I got into soccer and did that a lot as well. And yeah, so anyway, those are the sports. And I used to watch a lot of the English Premier League. So I watched, I supported Liverpool. I still do, but I don't watch them anymore. But yeah, I'm kind of a soccer and athletics kind of dude. But yeah, thanks for the question, and that's the last one. So thank you so much to everyone who asked questions, and sorry to everyone I didn't get a chance to answer your question, but yeah, I really appreciate getting them anyway. If you guys want to submit your own questions for future episodes of this series, come join the Mogz Discord server and put the questions in the Ask Mogz channel. You don't have to ping me or anything, don't tag me, just don't reply to me, just write your question. And hopefully if it's a good question, if I like it, if I haven't answered it before, then I will answer it in the next episode. But yeah, thank you everyone for submitting your questions. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode with all of the different ranked gameplay. I thought it might be interesting to have something other than like champ or GC or top 100 gameplay. So I've just got everything in this video. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Yeah, as always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.